Nick from Echo Base Network. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens. Echo Base Network. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens. We're back.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
You guys will have to forgive me tonight if I sound funny or that I'm not on camera.
You always sound funny.
I got sick like 3 times tonight, guys, but I was not missing tonight's stream. So I kind of feel like crap, and I'm like literally sweating.
We're doing you a favor by keeping the cameras off.
Yeah, we're doing you guys.
But we are here.
Yeah.
I just don't want my lights on. Look, I have a shirt on. I'm wearing my sweet Bumblebee t-shirt. But hey, camera's off. But we're here. And this is a good one. We got some special people here in the house with us.
We do. Do you want to go ahead and introduce them, Coach?
Well, let me bring in close friend to our channel, the famous / infamous. I don't know. He's a hell of a YouTuber. He would never admit it. Now he's doing Acolyte reviews. I almost forgot the name of the show. It is Acolyte, right? Yeah. Now he's doing Acolyte reviews. He's tearing it up over there. You know him. You love him. We're very thankful that he's here and he's our friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Knee Pain. What is that?
What's up, Knee Pain?
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Hey, there's that voice. Everybody get your ASMR ready. Go to sleep. Oh, that man. If I had that voice right there, we would be balling, Nick. But,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, instead we're just 2 country bumpkins in Alabama,
Bumpkins. Yep. So Knee Pain is here with us tonight, and our other special guest, and as you are all aware, Knee Pain, got really, things just blew up with him what, 3 weeks ago? Was it 3 weeks ago now?
It's been about 3 weeks since my 15 minutes of fame. Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't call it 15 minutes of fame, buddy. But yeah, he worked for dang near 20 years at Lucasfilm. Worked on projects that many of you know and love, like
Not
the Clone
20.
Wars, like Rebels. Well, 12 years?
8 years in that studio alone. Yeah. Then I probably another 15-ish years overall in animation and visual effects.
Very good. Very good. I got my people mixed up. That's why I said.
Oh yeah.
That's why I said 18. But because our next guest, many of you saw his recorded interview that Nick set up. Did so well. He is codenamed Agent Kallus. Yeah. He joins us tonight for a live stream show, and here he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Kallus, what is going on, brother?
Hey, welcome, Kallus.
Hi. So now we have three country bumpkins.
Three country bumpkins. Actually, 4 country bumpkins. Value Renegades here. Bumpkin ass. All right.
I'm not country. I'm Southern. I'm from New Orleans. We're not part of the rest of the South. It's
Florida.
I see your ilk at the beach, and yeah, y'all are country.
Yeah.
I don't know what part of Louisiana you're looking at, but it ain't us.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, when y'all make all y'all's road trips to the beach, I see all them people from New Orleans. Oh my goodness. Cajuns.
That's not Cajuns though in New Orleans.
Oh well, they claim they are.
The food's amazing.
Y'all are everything.
Oh yeah. Now, Kallus, do you know Valiant?
Now we do.
I've seen a few of his videos. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna sit in with us tonight. I'm actually gonna move him up there since he's on camera and I'm not. But man, thank you guys for being here. I know Agent Kallus had interesting day today, to say the least. Hope everything's good there, Kallus.
Yeah. I was just reading that Volvo has a recall on my boat engine that I didn't know about, and it's the exact thing that happened to my boat engine. So at least I think it's going to be like covered by Volvo extended warranty. So I have this boat and it has 2 engines, and one of them today, what they do with these modern boat engines, they for some reason took the oil filter from underneath the engine, like it is in a car, and they mount these extended auxiliary oil brackets on the side of the engine, so it's very easy to change the oil filter. But in order to do that, they have to run oil lines from the bottom of the oil pan up to this filter, and then install a pump to recycle the oil, right? And so one of those lines just popped loose and filled the entire engine bay with oil, like everything. It's just coated in oil. And then the computer shut everything down, I guess, because of fire. It was saying fire warning. And so I'm out in the middle of Lake Tahoe and had to call a towboat, and they were very busy today. It's 2.5 hours.
Oof.
And yeah, but I finally got back home. I'm good now. Now I'm happy because I think it's covered by warranty.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Boat repairs is, it's like $2,000 to $3,000 and up. It's like that's where it starts,
Hell, Matt Tween, good to see you, brother. So, Kallus, our video, our interview with you, did great, and just to let everybody know, you are not the voice actor of Kallus, because I did see that out there. That's just the code name that we gave you. So just for clarification for people out there that were wondering, he is not the voice actor of Kallus.
Well, everybody here, Nick, may not have seen that video or even known about it. Why don't you kind of recount what went down there? Yeah,
so Kallus saw our video with knee pain, and then he commented on it and talked about his time at Disney. Well, I messaged him, and then we just kind of went back and forth over email, and then talked on the phone, and we actually did a pre-recorded video with him talking about all his experiences. It working for the Walt Disney Company for, what was it, 18 years, Kallus? Somewhere right around that.
Yes.
And was basically laid off and told that he was being laid off because he was basically a white male, which is absolutely insane. You know, that companies can do that and get away with it. And I highly, if you guys have not seen the video, I highly recommend you go watch it, because there's a lot of interesting stuff in that video that he talks about. And yeah, it was a great interview, and we're glad that he could jump on here and kind of tell his story. And we hope that more and more people at Disney and ex-Disney employees kind of speak out and talk about that kind of stuff. And that was kind of Kallus's reason for doing it, right, Kallus?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just hoping that, more people will start to come out, and because I know there was people that were laid off around the same time as I was, that had the same. I don't know if they were able to pull that same information out of HR, because you remember I had to pull that out of the lady, but I think they had the same feeling that this was happening to them. And since then, it's been almost 8 years since I left, and a lot of my friends have been laid off, and it's just weird when they lay people off that's been there for 10 years, 15 years, and then they hire somebody for that position, because when you lay people off, typically in the typical business, because you're not doing well, like the business is not, the revenue is not enough to cover the expense of the employee, or the employee is no longer, their job or whatever service they do, whatever utility they have for the company, is not needed anymore. But in case after case after case over the last 8 years, 7, 8 years, I've seen people just laid off and then just basically replaced with other people. And as I explained in that video, sometimes it might be some kind of DEI thing, but it's also a lot of times it's just cronyism.
Yeah.
And it's destroying the company. It's destroying the Walt Disney Company. It's, the reason the company was so successful for so many years is because of the dedicated, hardworking, and I can't drive this home hard enough, people that just absolutely adored and loved the company. And they've managed somehow in about a 10-year period to get rid of all those people and bring in people from other businesses, and then their friends, and then the DEI stuff on top of that. And so this is what we have today, where it seems like nobody knows what they're doing and everything's burning down.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I saw some people in the chat saying sounds like a lawsuit. You want to kind of, for the people that didn't see the video, kind of talk about why you didn't, go that route of filing a lawsuit against them?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can cover that again. So Disney has one of the largest legal departments for a Fortune 500 company in the world. And when you go against them, you have to be prepared to win or lose, and lose everything. And I was told by a couple of attorneys that, if I lost the lawsuit, it was going to be somewhere between $100,000 and $500,000 worth of legal fees that Disney would hit me with, and even garnish my future wages and take my house if I couldn't pay it. So that kind of, scared me away from that. And plus, because the position I was in at Disney in technology, I know there's a lot of technology people in this group right here. You understand, when you're a global admin, especially in Microsoft domain, you have access to everything, and they force the Disney technology folks to sign 10, 15 NDAs, and they're 20-year NDAs, and I'm not supposed to talk about anything that I saw or read, or anything like that. So that's the reason I'm hiding my face today, if you want to know the truth, because I don't want to. On one hand, I don't really give a shit, because I've been very careful not to say anything, But on the other hand, I don't want to go through the hassle of getting a letter from them telling me to shut up and having to get an attorney and all that stuff, So I may show my face at some point, but right now I'm just hoping I can get more people, because I know there's just so many people out there in the world that, had the same experience as me with Disney. I want to get more people doing this, and then I'll probably feel more comfortable, coming out of the closet, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, on top of that, to add to what Kallus said, there's the financial aspect, but people I know, why they didn't pursue any of their own cases was because emotional exhaustion, because they knew, a company like that can drag out a case for years. And so even if they have a winning case, it's going to basically keep them involved, and it's going to make it hard to move on.
Yep.
Right. And at some point, they just would tell me, like, you know what, I just want to be done and move on and just live my life and try to forget I was ever there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good point. And if you watch the video that we made, I talked about my depression and what I went through after losing my job, because Disney was everything to me. It's all it's the place I wanted to work at since I was a teenager. I jumped through incredible hoops to get that job. I worked my ass off. I'm sure knee pain understands, working 60, 70-hour weeks to get things done, but you're a salaried employee, you still get paid the same. I did that week after week, month after month, month after month, and then to just be let go, like that. I went through 2 years of depression. I had to have counseling. So there was a lot of what you just said. I just wanted to move on. I just wanted to be done with the whole thing, and that's what I had to do.
It can literally become a life in that industry. And some of these companies that just put you through the meat grinder, where you literally forget what day it is. I'm not like joking, like, oh, I don't know what day it is. Like, you honestly don't know. You have to look at your phone and be like, oh, it's Thursday, because it doesn't matter, because you're going to be there Saturday, Sunday, but like, you're just going to be there.
Correct.
And suddenly, like, weekends they don't mean anything. And what he said about therapy, there's a point where I went to therapy, and I talked about this in one of my videos, because I didn't know. I was like, I kind of moved on. I thought I moved on, but I was still having problems with drinking. I was irritable. I didn't know what my issue was, so I went to my first therapist ever. And after about a few months, I kind of realized it was, because I thought it was this PTSD from being in the military, but that was 20-some years ago. I thought I got over all that, right? And it's like, no, it's from the industry. And so that actually made me more insecure, because, like, how did I let entertainment jobs screw with me this much? And then I started reconnecting with a lot of colleagues, because I did kind of cut off a lot, even people I liked, I didn't speak to for almost 2 years. Like, I just didn't want to talk to anybody. And I've actually got a friend going through that right now. He's living up, literally up in the woods in the middle of nowhere. And we know he's fine, but he doesn't connect with anyone right now. He just wants to stay away. But I started connecting with people, and then I finally opened up to a couple, said, yeah, I went to a therapist, and then a lot of them said, me too. And they started talking about, like, like, it was, this job, this studio, and, it's going back to that lifestyle and that culture. And I couldn't find out, like, I'm not the only one. And the ones that didn't go to therapy that I've learned to be more open about, they're just like, well, I've been thinking about it. And I was like, you might be surprised how many people we've worked with have gone to therapy. And they're like, oh, wow, like, I really felt insecure. Like, that maybe I shouldn't go. And it's way more common than I realized. I mean, I think there's more of us that worked in that industry that have gone to therapy than us military veterans that have gone to therapy, to be honest. The military, we just turn into drunks. But
on a per capita basis, it would not at all surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
knee pain, you also talked about how when you did reconnect with people that you worked with, and I'm wondering if Kallus has gone through this as well. You said that, eventually, like, when the barbecue first starts, everything's cool and y'all are laughing and giggling, and then you start reminiscing about the work, and the tone of the conversation turns very dark, and your partner was like, hey, honey, I think you don't need to be hanging out anymore like this.
Yeah. Some of our partners and our wives and spouses have been like, first they think it's fun, and they're just like, oh, wow, you all have issues. So it's, it's just even like people. So there are people I've met, like right towards the end when I left, when I was doing my consulting at small studios, that we had never worked together, but we had worked on some of the same roofs, and we knew a lot of the same people. And the conversations always start, first 5-10 minutes, like, oh man, we really jive, we're getting along, we go out to lunch. And at some point, I don't know where it is, the conversation just goes right, just goes downhill, and like all the stories come out, and you just kind of like, wow, this is just a rampant issue throughout that whole industry.
Right.
Yeah,
Kallus, have you gone through any of that?
Well, I know most of the people that I worked with at Disney over the almost 2 decades could sit down and have, talk about the same difficulties that I spoke about earlier. But in general, I also was in LA for 20 years, and almost everyone that I built a friendship with was, like I said in the video, a screenwriter, director, production assistants, producers. I mean, I know a lot of people in the industry, especially on the gay side, and they have the same stories. I mean, it's a lot of people. I have a friend that I've been close with for about 17 years, and he did sound engineering for the Walt Disney Company as a contractor the last 4 years, and he quit after that. He's completely out of the business now. It's like either my life or I continue doing this, because he was doing gigs where he was working, 500 hours and getting paid, $2,500. It's ridiculous, and that's why I was talking in the other stream that we did about how the money, where does the money go? How in the hell can the Acolyte cost $27 million roundabout per episode? Like,
I know.
How can it? Yeah. Please explain that to me, because it's sure as hell not going to the people that's actually making the art.
No. Yeah, some of not all of it, but I mean, you got to realize the people working on that show, most of them are not actually capable of making art. We have to start with that reality.
That's correct.
When you hire people like Disney does, and Coach and Nick and I, we've had this conversation, and I've had it with many others. There could not be a greater, more obvious dichotomy of art right now, especially when talking about Disney Lucasfilm in 2024, than what we're seeing currently being released on Disney Plus versus with Warner Brothers and House of the Dragon. My God, I mean, we just finished watching episode 4 tonight of season 2. This is a show that has a similar budget overall per season to what The Acolyte has, to what Secret Wars did for Marvel, to what Andor did. House of the Dragon, each episode is about an hour long. There are 10 episodes per season. The Acolyte is roughly half an hour long per episode, 8 episodes per season. When you do the math, it comes down to the fact that House of the Dragon costs about $350,000 per finished minute of product that goes onto the screen, whereas The Acolyte costs closer to $750,000 per finished minute of product that goes on the screen. There's a very easy explanation for this. When you hire people with no talent, no skill, and frankly, no frickin' business being there, like Leslie Headland, but for the fact that she witnessed probably some of the most horrific crimes in Hollywood history in terms of violations of people, and is being paid and hired by other studios to keep her mouth shut, because she probably knows not only things about Harvey Weinstein, but God knows however many else Hollywood executives out there. Why do you think she's gone through, like 24 interviews about The Acolyte in the last 2 or 3 months, and not one person has ever asked her a question about that? Come on, use your brain. This ain't hard. When you get to go out like Leslie Headland, and you get to hire all of your friends who are also worthless, talented Tumblr artists and TikTok personalities, people like, I don't know, the cast of this show that all largely suck, but for maybe one exception like Lee Jung Jae, and you get to take them out and you get to put them up for 6 to 7 months worth of shooting time in London at Shinfield Studios, which is about 45 minutes west of London. You get to put them up in a 5-star London hotel and lodging for, 6 months? You get to take them out every night to a 2 Michelin star meal, 3 Michelin star meal in London all the time. You have a catering bill, Shinfield Studios, the set that was built for this thing, which hilariously looks like trash, even though they spent $50 million. They spent $50 million on this show before a single camera rolled. $50 million in pre-production costs. We have the financial returns from the UK. We've covered this for Blue Stockings Limited, the Acolyte production. $50 million is what they spent up through September of 2022. Cameras didn't start rolling until October of 22. That's what
it's a long time.
Yeah, look, Disney spends $200 million to make Pixar movies like Inside Out 2. Meanwhile, Despicable Me 4, the 6th movie of that franchise, including the Minion stuff, half the cost. $90 to $100 million. Disney just pisses money away because that's what they do. And
well,
they
we've heard tales of different types of fraud and embezzlement. We've heard tales of people paying for the most expensive camera and being overcharged, and then the next thing that happens, there's a check on somebody's desk.
Well, an envelope.
Yeah. So we've heard those stories, and it just stands to reason that it happens. When you're talking about $180 million on that show and you're comparing it to House of the Dragon, there is no comparison.
No.
And it's not like that they spent that cost in advertising. We didn't even get any trailers or teasers or anything until right up to the movie. They were dark.
To be financially clear, the $180 million budget, when you file those financial returns in the UK to get the film tax credits, you cannot by law include marketing costs. It is strictly production. So when we tell you that XYZ Productions spent $200 million, $300 million, Rise of Palpatine, the final Star Wars movie in 2019, $517 million for that movie. That doesn't include marketing. $560 million for The Force Awakens.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's no marketing there. That's just production.
I seem like I remember reading something. This is old school, but like, didn't George Lucas try to make A New Hope with like $3 million, and then he had to go back and get like just a couple of million more to finish it?
Yeah, they went over budget twice.
Exactly. So and that's how
Yeah.
the other studio got involved, because there was one studio, and then that's how the other one. But
and at one point they told
$5
Lucas
million.
no, and they were about to cancel the movie.
Yeah. Oh, Francis Ford Coppola was upset with Bob Evans and Paramount because they only wanted to give him $5 million to do The Godfather. I mean, let's go back to those days.
So
right?
everybody should just fund their own movies like Francis Ford Coppola, right? For $111 million or whatever it was.
And most of that money was for Marlon Brando.
Yeah,
So I mean,
exactly. You know what? It would cost a lot more money to do like the original Star Wars movies, because it was all practical effects. You know, the digital stuff. I don't know. Again, like it just really does seem like there's a lot of embezzling going on. Someone was saying money laundering, but I'm pretty sure it's just kickbacks, because I've seen it in what I did for Disney. My last couple of years there, I seen some very suspicious activities in the budgets, and I brought them to my boss's attention. And I think it was actually my boss's boss that was getting the check, not the check, but the cash in the envelope.
Right.
Because it can't be a check, because they can trace that. They can bring an envelope with $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in it. But I think that kind of thing happens all the time. It has to, because it just blows my mind that they spend that kind of money on this junk, and it's trash. It's garbage.
I've always felt that the digital, though, it's part of the problem things got expensive was because digital, the VFX, made directors lazy. It made them feel they don't have to be accountable and make good calls. When you were doing practical effects, you had a miniature building. You literally had one take to blow it up correctly.
Yep.
And then you get these directors like, hey, let's just do like what I used to do before I made the big studios. I used to do like freelance visual effects for some studios out of the Philippines. and like Southeast Asia. I mean, really, like this was like entry level, low pay, like anything you could do, right, just to make a buck and get by. And they would just sit there and just ask for iteration upon iteration. You're just sitting there, you're pumping out 20, 30 iterations of a single fire simulation. And it got to the point, it became so redundant, Kallus, that I got sick of re-rendering because I had felt they weren't even looking at the shots anymore. So I wrote a script that would actually take my older video files and it would copy it to a new one and give it a higher number. So, revision 26, revision 27. At some point, they're like, oh, we'll take revision 38. And revision 38 was originally revision 14. They just don't know what the hell they're looking for. They just like, they think we enjoy, like, we do enjoy doing this, but I don't sit there and enjoy working on the same shot over and over and over and over again, because literally the only feedback you're getting from some brain dead director is he's just telling you, make it faster, more intense, make it pop, make the fire hotter. I was like, well, hotter fire is blue. Do you want blue fire? No, I want hotter fire. And then after 3 days of back and forth, what the bonehead actually meant was, I want more smoke in the fire, because he doesn't know how to give halfway decent notes.
Yeah.
So I got to do this. There's people in chat that's been calling for it with the panel that we've got. We'll just kind of go around the horn. Nick, are you here? All right,
Nick died.
Yeah, Nick stepped away. Bad
Rip,
sushi.
Nick.
Bad sushi. Sorry. So look, especially with Kallus and knee pain, people who worked in the industry, myself and Valiant, long time, lifelong fans. Nick's back. What are your personal thoughts on George Lucas? If you want to say something about his legacy, or there's a lot of people that see Lucas with rose-colored glasses. So I'm sure with, let's see, 848 people in chat right now, I know that he's going to have his staunch defenders. I know that he's going to have people that blame him for A, B, and C. So what are your thoughts about George Lucas? Nick, if you don't mind, we're going to start with you.
So my thoughts are, he is the creator. I got a lot of respect for George Lucas. He did create the whole Star Wars universe, but when he created it, he started with an idea, and then the people around him helped shape that idea. One of the big people, Marsha Lucas, his wife at the time, was a big one. Yeah. And then all the other people around him that also helped shape that. Now, when we got to the prequels, it was all him, and he was surrounded by yes men. Now, me personally, I'm not a big fan of the prequels. I appreciate them today, but it's just not the same as the OT for me. And so even though I got a lot of respect for him, I don't put all the success of the original trilogy solely on him. But I give respect where respect's due. The idea started with him. He's the one that got it done. So, with that said, you got to respect that aspect of where he took just a simple idea and then where it got to. And then he was hugely successful in the merchandising. I mean, the merchandising, he made more off of that than he did off the movies. So he's a good businessman, and that's basically my thoughts. Knee pain?
Right. Pretty much the same. I think George and a lot of those early directors who really pushed the limits, I think they were different people back then when they were struggling. And I think what it is when you're kind of fighting the system and you're working within heavy constraints like budget and being challenged by studios, sometimes it helps you focus. But then I think when you get to a point where no one's challenging you anymore, I think that edge starts to go away with all of those big shots. And I know a lot of people focus on like Star Wars. Okay, Star Wars got worse, but you also remember George, he ran other projects. Exactly. Red Tails did not do good. That was not a good movie. That was just George's last live action. That was not good.
Mm-hmm. There's also Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Yep. Indiana Jones.
The fourth one.
Yep.
There was only 3. What the hell are you talking about?
I agree.
And I think a lot of people forget, he also, his last CG film was Strange Magic.
Yeah.
That was a huge flop in theaters.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Kallus, you were there when the news broke that George Lucas sold Lucasfilm to Disney.
Actually, you know that photo you were always see Bob Iger and George signing the paperwork.
Mhm.
I worked. That's the building I worked in, just a few floors down below that building. But that's the Team Disney building at the Walt Disney Studios. I'm a huge fan of George. I find it very hard to say anything bad about him. I think he's incredibly talented. I think he did some things that no one else could do. You know, people forget that, you know, he did American Graffiti. Is that it? His first movie?
Yep.
Which I loved as a kid. And then, of course, Star Wars and Indiana Jones. I think if you go and watch his interviews carefully, he really did feel like he was the end of life when he sold, you know, Lucasfilm. And I think he believed what they told him. You know, he was 70 years old. He's been a diabetic for, 35 years?
Yeah, severe
Something like
diabetic.
that.
Severe
And I
diabetic. Yeah.
think he was thinking, you know, I'd love to finish this, but how can the last 3 took 10 years? You know, I'll be 80 years old when I do 3 more of these movies. So I'm going to give it to these younger people that can, with a lot more money than I have to do with it, you know. And I think, I think he's made it pretty clear in interviews since then that it was a mistake, that he should have, you know, picked somebody else to. But then when you look at that, when you step out of the bubble and you look at that, who else? You know, who else had the money and the credit to pay $4 billion for you know, Lucasfilm? And he's filthy rich, and he's done a lot. I don't know if you know about this, but he's done a lot of good with that money. He hasn't just like sat on it. It's a lot of good charity work. And
Yeah, he's got the George Lucas Educational Foundation that he runs out of Skywalker Ranch,
Right.
educational nonprofit. Yep.
He is an amazing man. He just, you know, I think I wish that he had not trusted Disney with Star Wars. Especially, I don't know, the Kathleen Kennedy thing has always driven me crazy. I just totally don't understand that. It seemed like he should have picked someone. He should have picked Knee Pain. He should have picked somebody at Lucasfilm that actually loved Lucasfilm. You know, there's so many people over at Lucasfilm that had just been there for 20 years that would have just loved. They may not have known the business side, right? But they would have known the art side. And we would have gotten a lot better product. I think all of this comes from Kathleen Kennedy. I think she was giving carte blanche to do whatever she wants. And then Disney found itself in this weird thing where we can't be the first company to promote a female to the highest level of executive leadership at a studio and then be the first company to fire that person. So you're stuck in this weird, you know, catch-22. So yeah, back to George Lucas. I love him. It's hard for me to say anything bad about him. My childhood is full of amazing memories at the movie theater and watching TV. I just can't. I love him too much to say anything negative. Sorry.
Now,
No, that's
Kallus,
good.
I know we saw Knee Pain talk about he saw George kind of walking around Skywalker Ranch, all that sort of stuff. Had very limited interactions with him. Correct, Knee Pain?
Yeah.
Now, Kallus, during that transition, did you ever see George Lucas or Kathleen Kennedy or them like running around and all that sort of stuff?
I've seen Kathleen Kennedy not during that time, but I've seen her a couple times after that, at walking in and out of the Team Disney building, probably going for meetings or whatever. But I've seen George Lucas. Do you guys remember a movie, Pearl Harbor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They were shooting that on the lot, or parts of it on the lot at Disney Studios, and I would walk over there sometimes and just kind of, even though I wasn't supposed to, and like poke around, look around corners and stuff, to see what was going on. And I saw Lucas talking to, I can't remember the director of that movie now, but it's him and Ben Affleck, and the director was talking. And
Michael Bay, wasn't it?
I was about to say,
Yeah, I think-
Michael Bay?
It was
Yeah,
Michael
Bay.
Bay.
Yeah.
Good call, Nick.
Yep. And I thought, oh wow, that's George Lucas, and that's the only time I ever seen him with my own eyes, right? Yeah, I mean, he pretty much looks the same today as he did back then. He hasn't changed much.
Did he have on a flannel shirt? It wasn't him if he didn't.
Shit, I don't remember.
He
Doing
probably
that.
did. That's normally his thing. Flannel shirt and blue jeans.
Thinking 20 years ago,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember what he got on.
Yeah. Now I remember Pain talking about the transition from Disney or from Lucas film to Disney. Kallus, do you remember that that transition and kind of how were you involved during that whole time and what was that experience like?
Well, I didn't really run any of the transition projects because the stuff that I did was more data center. But of course, people in the the same department that I worked for ran the transition, so I would hear all these stories, and but I remember Disney during that time. Let's say during the time they were buying Lucasfilm, they probably also bought like another 100 companies.
Yeah.
Most of them tiny little companies, with like 30, 40 employees, like gaming companies that might have like 100 employees. But when you buy something like Lucasfilm, that was a big deal to get all those guys over, to convert their data center policies and their email and everything over. So I remember that time and when that was going on. Also with Marvel Studios, I was actually a little bit involved in that transition. And I put myself involved in that because I wanted to work over there, but I never did get a job over there in Marvel. I wanted to work over there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that that Disney actually introduced a lot into Lucasfilm other than, hey, you have to use our email now, and you have to use our data center policies, and you have to use our accounting.
Yeah, the payroll and the intranet,
SAP and all that stuff, But like, I don't think there was anything complicated about the transition compared to like Marvel and some of the other companies that they bought.
So is everybody here watching The Acolyte?
So,
unfortunately, yes.
So as you know, I finally I found out my partner was getting it through her mobile, and I was like, okay, I guess I have no excuse. And so I did my first review where I kind of really nitpicked a lot of the parts in the script. Kind of took a little bit of my perspective from having worked in the industry on it, and I just finished doing my notes on episode 2, and I might have to go back to therapy, but yeah, I'm working on it.
Could I please watch episode 3 with you? Oh, please.
We should set something up.
That's the only one. Just 3.
That was Valiant's favorite.
Yeah. Oh no! Don't you go anywhere, Valiant. Because I want to say this close into the camera, and everybody get this. The only reason that Nick and I are watching The Acolyte is because Valiant swore up and down it would be good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Real quick, guys. Jeremiah Hembry has become a YouTube member. Hail, Jeremiah Hembry.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Welcome aboard, brother.
Welcome to the EBN member family. And John the Beard has also become a member. Welcome, guys.
John the Beard. Awesome, brother. Thank you.
Also, House of Tradies for $5. Kallus, I hope you can find enough former employees to file a class action lawsuit. I hope Elon can find you and others to help file a class action.
That's lawsuit. What I wanted to talk about. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. And I definitely want to hear Valiant's kind of questions and take on that whole aspect of it to Kallus, because I know a lot of people were commenting about that. John the Beard for $2. Me myself have perhaps the little money myself has perhaps the little money if artists. Not sure exactly what you're saying, John.
Let us know, John.
But let us know in the regular chat. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being
It's on
here.
us, John. Our comprehension is pretty low. So
we're idiots here. So it's not.
Please let me know what strain you're smoking. That sounds really powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
I had the same thought.
You better smoke some of that before you watch episode 3, me paying.
What are you drinking? So we never did get to hear Valiant's take on
Oh yeah, come on, Valiant.
Oh yeah.
I think there he is.
Very curious.
Real quick, Echo Best Network. What's up, brother? What's up, Nick? Hello, Ghetto Streamlabs.
You know who that is?
Yeah, Adam Cawthorn.
Okay. What up, Adam? Love you,
All right,
brother.
Valiant.
On what specifically? I'm sorry, I missed.
Oh,
what
on
is
the
your-
whole the legal stuff with Elon and
Yeah, I mean, look, that's going to be that's the kick for everybody right now. That's what everybody should be paying attention to. And I don't think it's an accident that James O'Keefe decided to do what he did in his strategy, and even going so far as when he posted it on X to tag Elon Musk in it, who shared it, right? Because Elon made an edict. He is no fan of Disney. He thinks Disney is a corrupt, disgustingly run company, and he's not wrong. And for all the reasons that guys like Kallus and Pain have brought up, the others that have come out there and told their stories, Disney is an incredibly toxic, disgusting work environment. They are a cult, and they've kind of been joked about that for years. I mean, 20, 30 years ago, they were joked as kind of a cult mentality, the Disney cult mentality. But there was a time when that cult mentality was kind of a healthy thing, you know, to promote the company because they were moral, they were upstanding, they represented Americana, they represented the American family. They wanted to cater to that. Now, Disney has taken that, they've levered it into pushing hardcore politics.
Correct.
That is now what they're about. And if you have wrongthink, if you came into Lucasfilm or to Pixar or to Marvel or something like that from 10, 15, 20 years ago, and especially if you're an older white dude, you know, 40 plus, your ass is grass. And that's the way they treat it now. You're socially problematic and you need to be pushed out because there's other people out there that may not have anywhere near the level of education, training, or experience that other people that have come before them do, but they have a skin color or an ethnicity or a sexual orientation that is more favorable to Mickey Mouse nowadays, to check off a box. And this isn't hyperbole. This is not supposition. This is not theory and conjecture. This is proven. We've talked about this on streams. We've shown you the Disney corporate memorandums that have all this on there. We've seen some of these things that have been shared from former Disney employees behind the scenes saying, this is what they're going for.
Yeah.
Now we've got James O'Keefe out there. Here's the people, these mid-level executives, or mid to upper level executives saying that, oh no, this is a thing. We've actually got managerial compensation packages, bonuses based on racial discrimination. We caught the IBM, I say we, out there in the public, not me personally, but the social media. You know, we caught the CEO of IBM within the last 6 to 12 months. You know, the WebEx call, the Zoom call or whatever that got released.
Yeah.
Him talking to his senior level manager saying, make sure that you get your diversity hire checkboxes right so you can get your full bonus. Make sure that you're racially discriminating in your hiring practices so you can get paid. Bro, that's illegal. That's like the it's easily a violation of law. But a lot of these companies think they can get away with it because they're violating the rights of the people who happen to be right now out of favor with the social left. When it comes to Disney and when it comes to actually going after these people, they're going to use all of that that's out there, right? Because they think they have the moral high ground. Because they've instilled themselves in their own mind at the moral high ground because they've controlled Hollywood in the media now for so many years. They don't have the moral high ground like they think they do. We've proven it in recent weeks. Look at all the Disney movies that have failed in the last several years because they've put certain types of politics and social messaging in it.
They keep doing it over and
then
over.
Disney
Yep.
finally comes out with a movie this summer from Pixar that didn't have any of that in it. And it's at $1.2 billion now, Inside Out 2. Amazing how that happened. But the point is that this is why Elon Musk has showed up, is because he knows what you guys know. Pain, Kallus, everybody else out there who has been completely victimized by Disney, including guys like the Michael Giordano, the dude from the James O'Keefe video,
Exactly.
who's been victimized by the Walt Disney Company because he was told when he started the company 15, 17 years ago, whatever the hell it was, hey, keep moving up. And then he was told, you've reached a point you can't advance any further because you're a white man. They're not hiring any more of you.
He was 20th Century Fox, and then he got right. He was 20th Century, so then he only came over to Disney in recent years, and so
yeah. But I mean, still, he was like many others at Disney. Look at Pixar, look at Marvel, look at Lucasfilm. How many people are running these sub studios of Disney now that have vastly less experience than a lot of people that have been there for a while? Look at what happened when they ran off John Lasseter from the Walt Disney Company.
Correct.
Lasseter, who had his hand on everything that came out of Pixar, everything that came out of Disney Animation. The last movie that Disney released that had even a thumbprint of John Lasseter on it was Coco in 2017.
Yep.
That was an amazing film.
I love that movie.
I love that movie.
Look at the trash that Disney Animation and Pixar have farted out since then. It's night and day with him gone. But he had to go. He had to go. But that's why Elon's there. He is making a way for guys like you and the guys that have been shoved out the door by Disney, who Disney has made afraid to speak up. Disney has a look, that's why all the lawyers out there in California, look, don't go after Disney. They'll take your house. They'll take your car.
Yeah.
They'll do this. They'll do that. They don't want a fair fight. They're evil. They want to destroy you. They want to bury you. Disney is, in and of itself, they are their own god. They have this moral superiority complex now that is so undeserved. They're so detached from America. It's not even funny anymore. And I think, like I've made the joke before, if Walt were still alive, he would take a 50 caliber machine gun and a flamethrower to the whole C-suite and kill everyone in there. And I think he would laugh while he was doing it because everybody's so terrible. But that's why you need guys like Elon out there who are willing to put up the money and the firepower to go at Disney. Everybody keeps asking me, hey, is Gina going to settle? What if Disney offers her a bunch of money? They're going to settle. Bro, let me tell you, Elon Musk didn't hire these lawyers, and Gina Carano ain't in the game to settle. They don't give a piss about the money. They're there to make a point. So if Disney thinks they're going to be able to just settle it and go away, it's going to cost them more money than they have to do it. And they're probably still not going to take it. So this is why the people out there that are getting railroaded by Disney, they need to reach out to people like Elon. He's got that team out there. I'm not saying he's going to take everybody that walks in the door, but he's obviously willing to make a stand. He's got the money and the power to do it. And
Sure.
That's what it's going to take to break the back of this evil company.
Well, that's a perfect segue right there. Mariana Barbara writes in with a $5 super chat. What is both Knee Pain and Kallus's opinion on Gina Carano's situation and her lawsuit? Can she win? Knee Pain, let's start with you, my friend.
So it's an interesting one. So I'll be honest, like, I didn't know who Gina Carano was for Mandalorian.
You weren't even watching it.
I wasn't even watching. I didn't know who she was. Yeah. People are like, Gina got fired. I'm like, who's that? So what I do understand, though, what she's really suing for, it's not that she got fired. It's that allegedly a Lucasfilm employee made a defamatory post about her on social media. And that's the defamation of character. That's more of what it is. And if that's the case, yes, I think that is actually reasonable.
She's going after Disney for... Under California law, they have a special law out there, and that's why this was done. There's a special labor law in California that's a bit unique that says you cannot be fired for your politics. And Disney went out in a public setting and decided we're dumping Gina Carano. We're going to do it in a public, humiliating way because of her politics. So they're suing under that California law. And Disney's defense right now is they're trying to make the argument that, well, we're an entertainment company. We have special First Amendment protections that supersedes this California law because we create artistic content that, we get to decide how artistic content is portrayed.
That's the ego of that industry they got sick of, is they think that what they're creating is people need. Right. They're just like, people need it. I was like, no, people don't need entertainment. I'm sorry, you don't. I know as much as you all love Star Wars, you don't actually need it to survive.
Right.
Well,
right.
The issue, knee pain, and here's the kicker, and I think this is what our lawyers are going after, and this is key, is the fact that if anybody cares to argue with me on this, I'm willing to do it. Please, chat, go at it. At what point in the show did Cara Dune bring politics in? Did Gina Carano have control of the script? No. Did she write the script? No. Was Gina Carano the showrunner? No. Was she a director on any episode? No. Did Gina Carano ad-lib anything in any point in the show?
It was on Twitter.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's it.
So what Disney is trying to say is, her personal politics that she displayed on Twitter, and the one they picked in particular, they tried to suggest was horrifically anti-Semitic, which it was not.
Yeah.
And we've broken that down ad infinitum.
It always will be, brother. It always will be, no matter what.
I know, but that's what they tried to get her for. And the problem is, in Disney's own legal argument, and this was the craziest thing, in Disney's legal argument, when they tried to get the case dismissed initially, a month or two ago now, they argued that they had the right to dismiss Gina from Disney Star Wars because she didn't represent the type of politics or values, or she didn't convey the type of message that aligned with Disney's values. I'm paraphrasing, but not by much. Mm-hmm. In which, in the same legal argument, Disney therefore effectively admitted that the Mandalorian himself, Pedro Pascal, and Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker for that matter, do in fact hold and convey Disney values when they repeatedly compared over half of the American populace to Nazi Germany and Hitler and stuff like this on Twitter.
But they're leftists, so they get away with that because it matches Disney's ideology.
But that was the idea, is that Disney said that Pedro Pascal, his comparing Trump supporters to these people over here from 1940 Germany is okay. But what Gina said was not. Disney told you in a court document exactly what they think of you out there, America. Believe what they tell you.
Yeah. Kallus, thoughts on the Gina situation?
I agree that both Mark Hamill and I believe that both of them should be allowed to say whatever they want to say when they're not at work, when they're not on a screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Left, right, middle, whatever. You shouldn't ever lose your job for talking about how you feel, either online or to your friends or just even in public. You just shouldn't. That shouldn't be a thing, as long as you're not advocating any kind of violence.
Yes.
But in this case, I think she was wrongly fired, and I hope she wins, and maybe it'll change some kind of policy. Another little. I think I said this in the other stream that we did. Disney's gonna die from 1,000 little cuts. It's not going to be a beheading. And every time they put out, a $200 million 6-episode Disney Plus show, and it gets this kind of ratings and this kind of following, it's another little cut. Eventually, they're going to run out of money. I mean, even Bob Iger and I believe that I don't know what's happening over in the board of Disney, because I think there's just people on that board that are just bought and paid for. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're definitely not representing the stockholders. I have a bunch of Disney stock.
They're representing Bob Iger, Kallus. That's why they're all there.
Yeah. And I said this in the other stream that I have a lot of Disney stock, and when I left in late 2016, my stock was actually worth more than that stock is today. It has not moved in almost 8 years.
And
And
look
it
at the
seems
rest
like
of the
somebody
Dow
would-
Jones, the S&P, and the NASDAQ since then. How you feeling now?
Exactly. I know. I said, Valiant, I said in that other stream, I said, I wish I had just taken all of that money and sold the Disney stock and bought Tesla, because I would be worth a lot more goddamn money.
You'd have a brand new
I would have
boat.
told you to buy Nvidia, but that's just me. So.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about your boat
I have a
crapping
bunch.
out.
I have a bunch of Nvidia. I'm a tech guy, so I've had Nvidia for 15 years. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
You're fine. You're fine.
I've been a financial planner for 20 years, so that's why I'm kind of doing that side of things. So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I hope that she wins, and I'm happy that she has somebody with a large bank account, so she doesn't have to worry about losing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I got to get running here in a minute, but
No problem.
wish I could stick around. It's been a long day. My 3-hour
Me
live
too,
show
brother.
earlier.
Me
Yeah.
too.
So
Yeah, when they
y'all
said you're
stick around.
coming on, I was like, wait, I thought I saw Valiant streaming earlier. This guy's been online all day.
This is it. On a Sunday night at this time, it's 10:30 my time. I'm like, there's nobody else. I don't think anybody else. I'd be jumping on this time of night to do this with these idiots here. So yeah.
Well, we appreciate
Anyway.
it, Valiant.
Yeah.
No, thank y'all for
Gee,
calling
thanks.
me and let me know. I know. I'm exhausted. It's been a long, 8 hours yesterday out in the sun in South Louisiana on the fishing boat. I'm like, dude, I'm still.
And I will see you next weekend, Valiant.
You coming up?
Yeah.
You got a room?
Yep.
Okay, I was gonna say because I got room in my room if you need another room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not snuggling up. Your ass sleeping on the sofa bed. All right.
I won't be there, but have fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll be thinking about you when we're
Oh,
in the room
please do.
together. Yeah.
Please do. Good
All right,
boy.
Valiant. Good to see you, brother.
See you, brother.
See you later. Good to meet you guys. Take care.
Real quick, Debbie Young, member for 40 months, had high hopes that Disney would work out because Rogue One was pretty good. Then it turned down a different path. Thank you, Knee Pain and Kallus, for what you are doing. Absolutely. Kallus, Knee Pain, did you guys both like Rogue One?
I did. I liked it because it felt like Star Wars universe, right? It was connected to the universe, but it was different. And I actually did something I liked, which was for once it didn't focus on Jedi. Like something I've talked about. I want to see the other people that were in the fight, no matter which side of the fence they're on. I want to see, because there's going to be the soldiers out there. There's going to be the militias, the people on the outer fringes, and they actually went that route. And I said, that's great. Do we get more? No, I mean, they all die at the end, but it was great.
Though.
Andor, the same director, writer, and I liked both of those. I like that entire storyline. That does. Knee Pain is right, the way that it pulls you out of the whole Force Jedi thing, and it gets you to see the rest of the universe.
Sure.
And it's really dark, especially Andor. It's some really dark places. It's adult Star Wars. That's why I love it. Like you. I was born into this stuff, when New Hope came out, and I was a little kid. But and that was for kids, and that's one of the things I think Lucas kept doing with the prequels that maybe he shouldn't have done, because I think a lot of us were grown-ups and we were expecting something more grown-up, but he was thinking, no, the kids really, this needs to be for the new generation of kids as well as the grown-ups.
Right.
But yeah, Rogue One and Andor it's probably my favorite Disney Star Wars.
I've never heard anybody talk about this, but this is how I felt. And I want to know how many people in chat or you guys, if you agree or not. I felt cheated out of my enjoyment for Rogue One. Literally, we watched the show at the premiere. Mm-hmm. I'm there with Nick and like 5 or 6 other of our friends. We're sitting there watching the movie as we do every night at the premiere. And the entire time I'm watching Rogue One, all I could think of is, this movie's cool, I like it, but I can't wait for episode 8 because Luke's back. Because that was the next movie.
Yeah.
And then what happened. And in retrospect, man, I wish I could go back and just sit down and actually just be present as I watched Rogue One, but I wasn't,
We'll go and watch it again. It's a good move.
Yeah. I need to do that.
Yeah. Debbie, also with 999, will Disney's daughter just cut off all her money to Biden campaign until they change horses in that race? Serve them all right. I don't know anything about that, but thank you, Debbie, for letting us know.
Yeah, I don't think about that.
Thank you, Debbie.
I remember something that shocked me because I was working in the executive suite. Remember my first 18 months there.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Michael Eisner. Him and I were just talking one day about something, and we were talking about the Disney stock, and he said, the family only owns about 14% of the stock now. Now I think it's like 7 or 8. So Walt Disney's family has, very little. I mean, it's still a lot of money, 7% of Disney stock, but it's not nowhere near what you think it would be. Being family members. But there was just times when Walt had to go and sell shares of the company to do things, and I'm glad he did those things, but it didn't leave him with the kind of money that you see, founders that we see today, like Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, or, they have a lot more shares than the family ended up with. But as far as, how much money is she giving to the Democratic Party? I don't know. I don't know if that would make a dent.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Also, Olaf with €2. Love Gino's response to Mark Ruffalo's ex earlier. I've not seen that. But
I did. I think Geeks and Gamers covered that.
Oh, did they?
I think so. Yeah, I remember seeing something about that.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Thank you, Olaf. Nuclear Punini for $10. Christina Ariella, black woman at Lucasfilm and host for Star Wars: The High Republic show. I remember that. Faced controversy for her anti-white tweets, but Lucasfilm publicly defended her, and she was not fired.
Christina Ariel.
Yeah. It's funny how that works.
It's almost kind of a regional thing. I mean, you get the Bay Area, the mentality of the Bay Area, LA. So when the O'Keefe tape started to break, I went on a couple of subreddits I'd follow. One was a local subreddit for film crews in Hollywood. And, if you realize subreddits for the past year, a lot of people complaining, I can't find work. This is really sucks. It's too slow. And
I didn't mean to throw you off.
No, that's okay.
I just wanted to show Christina Ariel's tweet.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
No problem there, guys. Star Wars, literally, the official Star Wars Twitter handle account actually comes out supporting her.
Yeah.
After this.
Well, you kind of see this. So, like I was saying, I go on the subreddit because someone posted, like, hey, do you all see the James O'Keefe tapes? It's probably something you all would get worked up about, right? This kind of thing that would affect your jobs. And the sheer number of people that were like, yeah, I'm okay with this. Like, yeah, it's fine. Like, they should give these people a chance. It's like, no, this is actually breaking the law. And so it's really like, it's insane. These people like kind of get all worked up like, oh, you shouldn't do this because it's illegal. But then when someone shows, hey, there might be this might be an issue. This might be affecting why you can't get jobs. And they're just kind of like, oh, but this is important. So like, I'm not going to make a big deal of it. And it's like, how do you just pick and choose like that? Like it's such a weird cultural thing. And that's one thing why I didn't like living in the Bay Area when I worked in the studios, right? I was telling Coach about this. I mean, I remember one time talking to somebody about, they're talking about politicians on Twitter. And I was like, well, I don't follow any politicians on Twitter. I'm actually against politicians being on Twitter. I actually think there should be a law against it personally. And they're like, oh, I get that. And I was like, yeah. And then same conversation, they go, oh, did you see what AOC posted last week? I was like, I don't follow her either. And they said, well, that's something a fascist would say.
What?
Yeah, it's like, because I don't, it's okay that I don't follow.
You don't follow. Yeah.
A very particular politician on Twitter. And it's just like, and people kind of sit around. I bring that around people like, well, she does bring up good points. Maybe you should follow her. I was like, you're not even going to like say, wow, they probably crossed the line calling you that. And this is saying to somebody, and this is what I hate, like, in the Bay Area, they throw that word around. I grew up in Michigan, going to all the underground hardcore shows at like the Reptile House in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I used to live there.
Yeah, and so you probably heard of the place we used to call Reptile House. All the underground clubs go there. We used to fight the skinheads all the time, man. We had a black guy in our group, and he's a pacifist, and so we always found ourselves. So I've literally had like ribs cracked, a tooth knocked out, fighting fascists, and I never thought, literally nearly 30 years later, I would have these overprivileged kids calling me this when I was like, I've actually faced off against these people. And now you have the audacity to call me this? So it's like, I don't know, like a regional thing.
It is, but it's also an age thing. The younger millennials and Gen Z, they don't understand what fascism is, and they're social justice warriors, even though they're all privileged. Mm-hmm. You know, I can give you an example. You're talking about Bay Area people. A couple of years ago, when I first moved to Tahoe, I had some friends that live in San Francisco come hang out with me during snow season, because we do a lot of snowboarding and skiing here. And a couple of the people that were with them that didn't know anything about me, right? These are people, a friend coming with friends, you know.
Yeah.
And they were both a couple of young Asian guys. By the way, my partner's Asian, before everybody out there starts calling me Asian. You know,
mine too.
Before everyone starts calling me racist, you know, my partner's Asian. So there's a couple of Asian guys. And the second morning they were here, I got up and I'm making coffee for everyone. And this kid looks at me. He's about 26, 27 years old. And he says, you should be ashamed of yourself because of your privilege. And I said, my privilege, excuse me? He said, well, look, you live here in Tahoe. You have this beautiful house. It's obviously because you're white.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the fact you probably worked very, very hard. You managed your money.
So I just kind of held it in for a minute, and then I couldn't hold it anymore. And I was like, I looked at the guy that he was here with, which is my actual friend. And I said, do you know anything about this guy? You know, and I said, and the guy said, what would you like to know? And I was like, well, where did you grow up? So you grew up in San Francisco. Where'd you go to school? Went to UCFS. And I said, how did you pay for school? Well, my parents paid for it. Well, did you ever work a job when you were in high school? No, because I can tell you, when you meet Asian folk in the Bay Area or down in LA, this is the story of most of them. Their parents work their ass off, especially if they're first generation here.
Yes.
They don't ever work a job in high school. It's all about school, getting good grades. They go to really good, expensive $40,000 to $80,000 a year school that's paid for. They get their first car, you know, just given to them. After they get out of college, if they want to open a business, they're just given money. If they, I'm generalizing here, but if they want to go to a master's or go be a doctor, get a doctorate in something, it's paid for. But this kid had made it through MD. He was an MD doctor, and he just finished his residency. Never worked a day in his life. Didn't have a penny of student loans to pay back. And he's going to look at me and what I've gone through in my life and tell me that I'm privileged because I'm white.
Yep, that's what they think.
And
they've been programmed to believe that way.
That you have, you know, it's the same problem after I left. And I called that one attorney that told me that, in the state of California, it's not against the law to discriminate against white people.
Say that again. Say that again so everybody heard that right.
Yeah. It's, an attorney told me that in the eyes of the law in California, it is not against the law. There is no such thing as discrimination. To quote her exactly, there is no discrimination. It is not possible to discriminate against a white person.
Can't do it.
In the eyes of the law in the state of California.
Incredibly evil.
And it's funny that you say that, because just a couple of weeks ago, I had a lawyer tell me on a issue I was dealing with that everything that was going on was completely unorthodox, and it came down to it was basically racist. It was because I was a white male.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, that's what Christina Ariel. This is the person that works for Lucasfilm.
That's insane. That's so
you do not have to comment under every post about racism that you're trying to be better. You've read XYZ, any combination of white people. When you are white people, I do not care. Talk is cheap. I'm not here for your accountability checkups. She is so racist, like it's insane. And these are the people that they actually give microphones to and say, here, Christina, tell all the Star Wars fans on StarWars.com about the High Republic. You're our voice.
It would be interesting to look to see if she has a Wikipedia and see what her background is, who her parents are, because it might not surprise you that she, like, her parents were probably like professors at a college, and like,
Oh yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me at
this
all.
is the kind of thing that I see a lot, like really privileged people out there being social justice warriors.
Yeah.
And that's probably what Nipan ran into that day with the whole fascist comment about not following some politician.
Well, now I've heard Nipan talking on some of his videos, the wisdom that he's already, been sharing with people, something that I have learned over time, and I think I'm going to continue to get better at, honestly. If I see 100 really good comments on our latest video, but one awful, stupid, angry dude coming at me, which one do you think I'm going to reply to?
Yeah.
By default, I go to the angry one because it angers me, and that's something that I'm getting out of right now. Like, I don't care. Like, let them say whatever they want to say. I've seen people here in chat tonight saying the dumbest things. Not everybody. 99% of you guys are great, but there are some people here just saying the dumbest things, having these side conversations about things that don't even matter.
Yeah, there's some people are posting stuff on my videos saying I should get off my high horse and stop being so arrogant, or if I don't repost my old videos, I should just delete my channel and get off YouTube. And
People are so angry.
You know what? I leave those up. I don't respond to them because I want other people to see how. Because some of these people do have channels. They have a few thousand subscribers. I'm gonna leave you up and let you show your ass to the world. The only people I actually do remove are the people that make comments that they hope my partner doesn't beat cancer. Those actually get removed.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. That's crazy.
That's awful. That's awful. People are evil. They're angry, they're sad.
Yeah.
They're probably lonely, and they're taking everything they can in their sad little life out on everybody else behind their keyboard.
They're like that because they've never been loved, and they know they've never been loved, and they leave this world. They're going to leave this world alone, angry, and they're not going to be missed by anyone. And so the only thing they know how to do is take it out on literally everyone else. So when I had posted my videos about being kind of stressed about my partner's struggle and all that, what they're mad about is, wow, if I got cancer, I wouldn't have a partner that cared about me. No one cared about me. And that's, that's what they're internally angry about.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's what they're coming after me.
I have
Absolutely.
I have a good friend that works over at Google. I've known for about 15 years, and he works in the Google, a lot of people don't even know this, but Google has reviews for businesses and everything. Is kind of like Yelp. Mm-hmm. And they spend a lot of money on the psychologist about this, and he's talked to me about it several times at dinner and stuff. And apparently there's a huge problem with trying to, especially online, get actual reviews from people. Because if someone comes into your business or watches your video or something, they love it, right? They're not going to say, most of the time, like 99.9% of the time, they're not going to say anything.
Right.
But if there's one thing, like they come into your restaurant and you forget to refill their water cup, then now you're the worst restaurant in the city, right? So it's very difficult to moderate anything.
And that's why I take reviews with the smallest grain of salt. I really go and I read the review. Like, what are they actually saying?
Correct.
And now, like, these smaller, like, we recently moved and we find a lot of these great smaller restaurants, and I've been making the point to try to leave good reviews because you're right. Most of the time, if you have a good experience, you're not going to say anything because you expect it.
Yeah.
And I started doing that too back when my friend told me these stories. I said, I need to, because sometimes you go somewhere and you just get excellent service, right? And I've tried to make it a habit now too to go and when I didn't know until recently that it boosts YouTube channels by leaving a comment, right? So I'm very good about clicking the like button and subscribing to channels that I like, but I wasn't leaving comments. So I've started kind of like the channels that I really like, leaving some kind of comment because I know that boosts the algorithm.
Well, that's the thing is
the grifters.
So even
that's how we found you.
And the thing
Yeah,
is,
exactly,
YouTube doesn't understand the difference between a negative comment and a bad comment. All I see is it's a comment. So when people are
Exactly.
posting rude comments, I just leave them because you're actually helping me. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
or ask them a question or say thank you. And it's so funny, like when people post something atrocious, and you're like, "Thanks for the engagement. Appreciate you watching our video." And
Yeah.
then they're like, they start cussing me out, dude. Like they just go nuclear. You
Yeah,
know?
they do.
I'm sure Valiant probably knows this guy, but one of my favorite YouTubers for about 5 years now is a guy named Maverick of Wall Street, and he's really amazing stock advice. If you watch his channel, he's pretty much dead on all the time, especially if you do options trading. Like
Coach might be interested in that.
But
I've lost all my money.
what he does on his channel is every week he picks an idiot of the week and he'll pin their comment up at the top. And he'll just
I thought about doing that.
he'll leave it up there at the top and just let everybody just gang up on them, and then he'll take pity off of the like after a week, and then
I love it.
take the comment down.
There's a restaurant in San Rafael, California. You just go to a Puerto Rican restaurant, and they had a really bad Yelp review because the person didn't like the color of the restaurant. It had nothing to do with the food. They didn't like the color of the restaurant. So not only did they print the Yelp review, they had it blown up, and they actually made a poster, and it sat outside in the front door so everyone could read it when they walk in. It was
I love it.
beautiful.
Hey, Nick's about to cover the super chats.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
Everybody in chat roast me, and we're going to pin the best one. Okay? Everybody in chat roast me.
Speaking of comments, Dragon Wise, hookers and blow, titties and beer. For Thank you for that.
All right. Sounds like a good night.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Our good friend, Rob Wright. Hill, good to see you, brother. 499. If the administration changes, do you think a new Department of Justice could investigate and go after Disney? I mean, it's possible, for sure.
I think that's a longer conversation. I mean, when Valen talked about O'Keefe, like I wanted to go down a rabbit hole, but you guys probably don't have the time tonight, and I don't know if I covered that in another video, but I have some thoughts about that. And I've sort of covered that in previous videos. I don't think it's as straightforward as people think, or it's going to be harder, I think, than people think. Here it is ultimately. I'll just try to summarize it. O'Keefe had one guy who said some things that made you question. It's like, oh, that sounds really terrible. And then, but that doesn't mean anything's going to happen. How many women had to come forward before they start taking Weinstein's issues seriously?
And now he's getting off.
Yeah, potentially, at least some charges, right? And so it's like, it's going to take, you can find that one guy. It's basically, it's like, oh, okay, Cal, a boating comparison. Yeah, you get a little pinhole in, you seal that hole. If you don't get another little pinhole for another few months, another year, big deal. You have to get a lot of them to worry that your boat might sink.
Yeah, and the thing with Kallus coming out and speaking up, and then of course with the James O'Keefe tapes and all that sort of stuff, maybe more and more people will kind of come out and start forcing some sort of change in the company because like so many other people out there, Kallus loves Disney, and just wants it to get back to the way it was, and I think a lot of us feel that way.
Coach, you've been roasted on a few comments.
I see this. I see. I'm just glad everybody's not saying I wear freaking makeup anymore. Like, what the hell was that about?
Type in 335 for $5. Star Wars fans who have Disney stock should put forward a motion to sell Lucasfilm due to lack of confidence in the board and its failing division. Yeah, I mean, Lucasfilm.
Didn't that more or less happen last summer? I mean, that's more or less what happened with the company. Like the end of last summer, there was a call not to to get rid of Bob Iger and to change a lot of things at the C-suite level of the company, and because Disney spent something like, wasn't it $20 million on an ad campaign to convince? I got a whole bunch of ads. I got a letter in the mail. I got a postcard in the mail telling me not to vote for for the change to leave Bob Iger in. So that was already tried, but I don't think he would survive if we could get that going again. I don't think he would survive a second time.
Yeah, and you talked about how when Bob Iger came in, he actually let a lot of people go when he first came in, right?
Absolutely. I told you the story about Dick Cook, who was the president of the Walt Disney Studios and he'd been at the company for like almost 40 years, and he'd started selling. He started at the company in the 1970s selling churros.
Yeah.
And then he became a ride operator, and then Disney paid for him to go to college, and eventually became but one of the first things that it was a big controversy at the time. One of the first things Bob Iger did was he fired Dick Cook because I think Iger wanted to take the company in some directions that oh my God.
Nick, did you see that?
Yes.
But I think
I'm about to get sick again.
That's hilarious. That is I just learned what shipping means, okay? That is hilarious. I am new to all this stuff. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Some of these comments, man. Some of these comments. I starred them. So we'll end the show with it.
Yeah.
All right, y'all can quit. You're hurting me.
You're hurting me now. It's too much.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Godzilla for $5. Kallus is 100%. San Fran Asians were super liberal and privileged until the laws changed and schools started DEI quotas, keeping Asians out of getting in.
I heard about that.
Yeah. Do you know? I guess that goes on a lot up there, Kallus, or.
Well, what happened was there was a case that went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, no, you I don't remember. We'll have to look it up if you want to, but it was something about the schools were allowing more Asians in than other races, and they wanted to equalize the population in the school. And the Supreme Court, and they were doing that for a long time, and then just recently the Supreme Court said they couldn't do it anymore. So that's going to change now. But I will say that, and it's not because of anything but real. I mean, especially first and second generation American born Chinese and Thai and Vietnamese and so forth and so on, they work their asses off. These people work their asses off, 3, 4, 5 jobs. Pay their houses off early, save every dime, and everything they do is for their kids. Yes. Everything they do is for their kids. And then their kids get all this privilege from that. And what's happened in California is their kids are kind of taking over all the California state universities because of that environment, because you don't have Caucasians and blacks and Hispanics pushing their kids as hard, are saving as much money. So you just ended up, it was just too, like UCLA, that's, where I got my master's. There was probably at that time 55% Asian, and I think it just kept going up and up and up. But then, they started to try to correct the ratios. And now since this court case has come down, I think there's nothing they can do about it. So, the colleges should be, if you're smart enough to get in, you got the money to pay for it, you should be able to get in. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And if it just turns out that most of your students are Asian, then that means they work the hardest. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
You can't. It goes back to what we've been talking about here. It's almost like they were discriminating against Asian kids because they were Asian, and now they can't do that.
Well, I know. And I don't want to go too much into this. I've never talked about it on YouTube before, but I know jobs in public education where principals are told by their boss, by superintendents or the Board of Education, that they have to hire X, Y, or Z for that position. It must be a black man. It must be a whatever you want to say. Because they have to check boxes too. We're talking about a government job. Yep. So it's just crazy out there. Venger with a $4.99 super chat. I can't see anything in the Acolyte that was worth its budget, but tonight's House of the Dragon episode, whoa. They spent their budget wisely for that battle. I agree. It was a slow episode. And it was better than anything I've seen Disney Star Wars produce in a couple of years.
I'm going to have to catch up on the show. You all keep talking about it.
So good. Yep. And I'll tell you another show that didn't cost nearly as much as either one of them. One of the best shows that I've watched. I'm proud that I watched it. I can't wait for the next season. For All Mankind on Apple Plus TV or Apple TV Plus, whatever they call it now. Incredible show. I binged it this summer, just finished it all the other day, and I am so ready for the next season.
I like it too.
So good. Yep. Thank you, Venger, for sending that in. Gift of the Gab with $5. Coach, you got the makeup comments because you're just so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
They're
You'll have really
backhanded
good skin.
compliments. Thank you very much, Gift of the Gab. We're going to see some of those backhanded compliments right now. Some of them are, I will probably be, crying myself to sleep tonight, but thank you very much for that. Check these out, guys. Ugh. Your voice is one of those ASMR YouTubers. I think that's a compliment. I'm not sure, though. But I'm not going to make any clicky noises with my tongue or anything. That would be weird. I don't know who Joey Chestnut is, but apparently I have his head.
Oh, God. I know who it is.
I don't even know who that is. Coach has girl eyelashes. All right. I can deal with that. That's actually the first thing my kindergarten teacher said to me was, you should have been a girl because of your eyelashes, whatever. Karen Owen, next week's Acolyte will feature Coach Shah romantic couple. Oh, boy. Thank you, Karen. Coach secretly likes the Acolyte. I promise you I don't.
That's a ban.
Yeah. That's a ban. How dare you? That's propaganda. Wolverine says Coach should embrace the bald. I am probably not going to have a choice in the next few years, but thank you for that. Coach is built like Dusty Rhodes in 1983. Wow. That's a good one.
If you're old enough to get that reference, it might be time to get your colon checked. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. Get the colon checked once a year. Coach, you need to shave that chest. Saw those memes on Facebook. I don't know what you're talking about, Olaf. Move on quickly. Coach claims he's against woke, but here he is wearing a shirt saying trans in all caps. What a phony. Oh, my gosh. Ghetto Streamlabs. Coach has been the same height since 5th grade. That's a fact. Are we still roasting Coach? Coach looks like Elmer Fudd.
No, you don't.
My favorite one so far.
The mustache.
Yep.
Coach plus Nick equals cock. That's just so funny. Coach looks like a transgender John Lovitz. Sorry. Wow.
How do you come back from that one?
I don't know. I'll be telling my wife about that one. That's pretty good. Venger. He already did that. Thank you, Venger. Appreciate that. And the Joker gifted 5 Echo Base Network memberships. So thank you very much for doing that. Gentlemen, this live stream has just been a pleasure having you guys here
always fun.
Together and doing this. So, Knee Pain, I know you'll be back. Kallus, I hope that you can come back and join us, sometime again as well. Just as a fan, just talking about what you think. You don't have to always talk about your experience, and it doesn't have to always be an interview. But we'd love to have you back, man.
Yeah.
Either one of you guys have anything you'd like to say here as we're gonna wind it down and hit the exit here? What you got going next? Is it YouTube related or not? Doesn't matter. Just Knee Pain. We'll start with you.
Yeah, so some of you might have noticed I actually did watch Acolyte, and I did my first review video, and I've finished taking notes in the second one. I'm going back watching it a few times because I'm taking very detailed notes. So there's things I'm looking at, other problems. I mean, outside story, we talk about budget, where the money go, which I can't answer, but I'm finding some issues with the sets I picked apart, and where I kept feeling that the environment, the world they're in, is very small. And so there's been a lot I've just been kind of calling out from like a production standpoint of issues I have with how they made that show. And I'm getting some people like in my comments are like, wow, I've never really thought of that. That's really interesting you called that out. So I'm trying to offer like a fresh perspective other than like what the obvious problems are, which basically I'm just saying I'm finding more problems.
So I just need you to do this one favor for everybody, please, because I will watch this the moment you release it. I know you watch it and then you make a post review and you break things down. Keep doing that. But please put the camera on you and record yourself as you watch episode 3, please.
That'll be funny.
Please.
I was going to do that. I was worried about getting like copyright strikes or anything like that for the sound or anything.
Keep the clips on your edited video 10 seconds or less, and you're good.
Yeah.
But I need to see some knee pain reaction
Yeah.
because this episode's worth it. You don't have to do it on any other ones. This one deserves it.
Yeah, I know me and Kallus were talking, and he was talking about how he would love to see us have people on here with a different perspective on like a positive side, which we would 100% welcome.
There aren't very many of those people.
Yeah, we even call people out like, hey, come on the show. You know, we're not going to be mean to you or nothing.
And the thing about
I tried to point out a few things that I liked when I did my reviews. Like, hey, I actually liked this shot, or I like this one little thing that they did. So, I've been trying to do that.
So I did a search for hashtag the Acolyte on Twitter, and literally like 14 of the first 17 responses that I saw about praising the show were all sexually related. That's it.
Wow.
They're not talking about the acting, the directing, the production. They're only talking. And I'm going to tell you, I can't say this with authority. It looks to me like the majority of the people who are enjoying the show are people who also enjoyed the sequel trilogy because they were Reylo fans.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting right now. That's the vibe. That's what I'm smelling in the kitchen. So chat, let me know.
Yep. Kallus, tell everybody what you got going on, or other people that you might want to give shout outs to. I know you don't got a channel yourself or anything, but
I don't have a YouTube channel. Not planning on having a YouTube channel. Just going to continue to enjoy watching you guys, and I'm a huge Nerdrotic and Critical Drinking fan. I recommend those guys, and now I recommend you guys to everyone. I never answered the question about the Acolyte. I couldn't make it past half of the first episode, and then I looked at my partner. I was like, "This is bullshit, bait and switch." I can't stand a show that like immediately throws politics into my face, and I can just it pulls me out of the story. The escape, because that's what this is. It's escapism. But when they did the whole bait and switch with I can't remember the actress's name from The Matrix.
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Carrie-Anne Moss. I was excited, about her being in the show, and then they kill her off there in the first 15 minutes, and I was like, I'm done. So I haven't watched another episode since, but I've watched every one of your reviews. So
I'm sorry.
So I feel like I know everything without having to watch it all. And
true.
I appreciate you guys giving me an opportunity to talk about my experience with Disney. It's been very therapeutic for me, and I hope that someone else will be watching this stream and they'll contact you and you can do it again, and we can kind of start building a snowball.
Yeah,
absolutely, bro.
Yep,
absolutely. Thank you, and it's our pleasure, by the way. Thank you, both of you guys, for joining us the way that you have.
You guys are welcome back anytime.
Well, I feel like knee pain, like from the first time we had him on to now, it's like two different people. Like I just see him as like he's just here. He's just one of us. I love it.
It's a game member.
Yeah. And Kallus, anytime you want to come back, you got our contact info. You got my number. If you ever want to jump on and just vent or talk about something that you heard, or talk about current day Disney, Star Wars stuff, like I said, you're always welcome to come on here anytime you want. Just let us know.
Absolutely. Right. Guys, all 766 of you, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
More content coming out.
Yep.
Acolyte will be live Tuesday night. It'll be here fast.
Yep.
So, hey.
I got a funny video I'm going to do tomorrow that I was going to hit tonight, but I'll do it in a video tomorrow, guys.
Can't wait. You let me know what thumbnail you need, brother. It'll be done. Dunzo. All right, guys. We are your Echo Base Network. May the force be with you, the thread, or whatever the hell, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens. I do not have chipmunk cheeks, and I do not wear mascara. Okay? Okay. Let's get that right. What's Nick's channel? This one! We are, you are. Knee Pain Network. That Valiant guy sure is verbose, but he's smart. Verbose means he talks a lot. If you ever feel weird because somebody's using big words in conversation, you're not alone. Where community happens. Nick did a great job tonight. Pulled it through. He's sick and he don't feel good. Why are you still here? Go home. Bye.